I would like to warmly thank MCC for welcoming me today to speak about a topic that has obsessed humanity since the dawn of time, especially you gentlemen, how to seduce women. All jokes aside, this is a real challenge conservatives must address today. An IFOP poll for the presidential elections of 2027 shows that among people under 25, women tend to vote much more to the left than men, with a polling gap of 9 points. More and more young women are aligning with far-left ideology, LGBT lobbies, transgenderists, support for immigration, and wearing the hijab. This is a reality we must not turn away from if we want to find real solutions. In fact, in 19th century France, it was the left that initially opposed women's rights to vote. Conservative women like Marguerite David were among the first to advocate for women's suffrage and to organize mock elections. The far left fiercely opposed it, believing women were too conservative and would boost the conservative vote. We were ahead of our time when it came to women's rights. We must become so again. Today, conservatives are not addressing all the concerns of modern women. There is a huge opportunity here. In France, the masks are coming off, and we are seeing that far-left parties put their political agendas ahead of women's concerns. La France Insoumise, for example, has shielded some of its MPs accused of domestic violence. Far-left activists are incapable of denouncing the Cologne mass assaults, the grooming in the UK, or the overrepresentation of violence committed by migrants, even as these events become increasingly visible and publicized. In Germany, Afghans are 64 times more represented in gang rapes than Germans. 64 times. In France, 63% of sexual assaults in public transport in Paris are committed by foreigners. Yet, progressive feminists remain silent, even as the truth becomes undeniable. Their silence erodes their credibility every time a young European girl is raped, and we are the only ones speaking out. We are the voice of these women. However, we are beginning to realize that this is not enough. The conservative movement has failed to take seriously the inequalities women face. These inequalities are real, but because the left constantly weaponizes them, the right often rejects them outright, calling them elite leftist invention. This is false. There is a real precariousness among women. Domestic violence is rising, especially visible during COVID, when such violence increased by 40%. Yes, there are more and more single mothers, and it's not always due to immigration or the breakdown of the family structure caused by the left. Some women are genuinely trapped in violent relationships. Yes, there are women who want fulfilling careers, not just for financial reasons, and who find today's system incompatible with family life. To deny these issues is to abandon women in distress, and isn't the measure of a society who it treats its most vulnerable. Conservatives must rethink their priorities without betraying their values. We are conservatives, we protect the vulnerable. We should be the ones protecting women in precarious situations. We must create shelters and safe space. We must demand stricter justice to fight domestic abuse. We must tell career-driven women, yes, in our world, you can keep working a job you love and also fulfill your desire for children. We will support you with nannies, financial aid and tax relief, as Hungary does. In Turin, for example, in Italy, the region creates a fund to support pregnant women in need throughout pregnancy and childbirth, so that money is no longer an obstacle to motherhood. We are the camp of protection and safety. Today in France, a rapid can refuse to take an HIV test for SIDA, forcing the victim to undergo testing. That's outrageous. The National Rally has proposed legislation to change that. The conservative movement must now acknowledge that progressives has no limits. It enables surrogacy that turns women into breeding machines, on sales OnlyFans as a form of empowerment. We have a clear path forward. Let me now speak to the need for a right-wing feminism. Let's not be afraid of the word. We are the new feminists. Not feminists who hunt men and see them as predators, but feminists of freedom and dignity. We are in a war of words, and we must create our own concept to resonate with younger generations. Let me briefly talk about my association. We are a small group founded in October 2019, born out of anger. Anger at being treated like meat on the street. Anger at enduring assaults no one talks about. Anger at not being the right kind of victim because our attackers were immigrants. We started with 7 activists. Today we are 450 women. We began with no media contact. Now we reach millions of viewers every month and regularly appear on the TV. Our Twitter account was suspended just months after launch in 2019. Today we have passed 100,000 followers. Thank you, Elon Musk. We were ostracized by the political world, even the right. Today we are invited everywhere and hundreds attend our events. No, I don't count the Antifa protesters outside. We have faced pressure, bank account closures, Instagram suspensions, Antifa violence, left-wing media doxing our activist identities and workplace, university bans. And yet, today we represent millions of women across Europe who finally feel heard and represented. The key to our success, we don't lie to women. We tell the truth, we acknowledge both the violence linked to immigration and the failures of our own institutions to protect French European women. So let's become feminists of common sense, of reality, and we will seduce women.
Thank you very much.